Hey everyone, welcome to this developer-focused video about getting your app ready for Google TV. I'm Clifton and I work on the developer relations team at Google. We're going to talk through the differences between Android TV and Google TV experiences, especially the integrations that can make your app stand out. If you haven't already watched the What's New in Android TV and Google TV talk with Shalini and Ben, be sure to check that out as well. You've probably heard that Google TV is the new, personalized, content-forward experience for devices running Android TV OS, but what does that mean? It's easier to explain with a screenshot. There's a great balance between the beautiful visuals and content discovery, and the content is also personalized for the logged-in user. Users can still easily access their apps, but the content really shines. So now we have this great user experience for, users, but what does that mean for app developers? Android TV OS is the operating system for both Android TV and Google TV devices. So you can let out a sigh of relief because the base app requirements are the same between both. We'll review those shortly, but that means your existing apps built for the Android TV OS will also work on Google TV devices. Besides the obvious UI changes, there is a much greater emphasis on quality and integrations. Most of these integrations are similar to Android TV, but we'll also talk through some of the differences. The requirements for distributing your app on Google TV are the same as Android TV, and we have this documented extensively on our developer site, so I'll just briefly cover the most important parts. Your Android manifest needs to say that it uses the lean back feature, which basically means it's compatible with TVs. It also needs to explicitly say that touchscreen is not required. Your manifest needs to include an activity to handle the lean back launcher intent. That's the activity that's going to launch when the app is selected. The activity or application tag also needs to reference a banner image that includes the app name. That's a piece a lot of developers miss. The app name needs to be in the banner. It's not just an icon. You should double check any permissions that imply hardware requirements. A common one that developers miss is the permission for Wi-Fi state, which implies the device has Wi-Fi. But some TV devices just have an Ethernet connection. You need to meet all the TV app quality requirements listed on developer.android.com as well, which includes requirements like handling landscape orientation, supporting D-pad navigation, etc. Finally, you have to opt in to TV distribution in the Play console. That's what tells our review team to verify your app meets all the TV requirements. Once you have the basic requirements met, there are a lot of different integrations that can provide much more engaging user experiences for your media app. There are many integrations. There's Google Cast with Cast Connect, Media Session, Watch Next, Media Actions Feed, Google Account Linking, Entitlement Sync, Voice Casting, Google Play Billing, Frictionless Subs, Home Screen Channels. It's a lot of integrations. You can read about all of these today in our developer documentation, but let's focus on a few of them. Hopefully you all know and love Google Cast. If you're not familiar with it, you can think of it as a way of controlling media with one device and playing it on another. The side that's controlling it is called the sender, and the side that's playing it is called the receiver. Every Android TV OS device, including Google TV devices, can be used as a receiver. Last summer, we also announced Cast Connect, which allows your app running on the TV to act as a native receiver. That means your APK can handle the session, so you automatically get support for remotes, and you can develop richer interactions. In addition, we now have Stream Transfer to move playback from one device to another, and Stream Expansion to allow playback on multiple devices. Watch the What's New in Android TV and Google TV talk for more details on both of those features. Media Session is one of the most important integrations for a media app to do, whether it's on TV or mobile. At a high level, you can think of Media Session as sitting between some sort of controls and your actual player. Users control your media in all sorts of ways. They have physical remotes, voice with Google Assistant, controls on a Bluetooth headset, the notification section on mobile, and many other ways. Users don't pick up a remote and think, "Ah, yes, this audio receiver remote is using IR to tell my receiver to send an HDMI CEC command to the Android TV device." Users just care about the action, like play or pause, and the Media Session allows your video player to also just care about that action. You don't have to do anything specific to handle commands coming from Bluetooth versus commands that are coming through the assistant. You handle commands with simple callbacks like on play or on pause. We have detailed developer documentation for Media Session, but I want to call out 3 pieces that developers commonly miss. First, don't implement on key down for controlling media playback. Just handle playback through the Media Session callbacks. Second, you need to set your Media Session as active when it should receive media commands and inactive when it shouldn't. Video apps should have a Media Session marked as active when the video is visible to the user. Which means video apps that don't support picture-in-picture will set the Media Session as inactive in the activity or fragment on stop method and active in on start. Audio apps that support background playback should keep the Media Session active until audio focus is lost or playback is explicitly stopped. Finally, you probably know about or even use Exoplayer. It's a great open source media player for Android, but a lot of developers don't know about Media Session Connector. If you're using Exoplayer, you can use the Media Session Connector to handle all the Media Session callbacks for you, which makes the integration effort very small. Watch Next is a great feature available on Android TV OS devices. Sometimes people refer to this as Play Next or Continue Watching based on the label that shows up on the home screen, but whatever you want to call it, it's one of the best features for enabling re-engagement. In recent research, we saw the Watch Next API could increase re-engagement by upwards of 30% in certain cases. Watch Next allows for user experiences such as if you watch half of a movie, you can see that movie show up in this row, and selecting it jumps straight into playback of that content exactly where you left off. Similarly, if you finish an episode of a show, the next episode is displayed so you can get back to that content you're enjoying. We worked with a lot of app developers to improve their implementations of Watch Next. Based on their feedback, we also updated the existing requirements to be even more explicit about what content should show up and when. For Google TV specifically, we're focused heavily on the quality of integrations, starting with movies and TV episodes. That means on Google TV, apps need to be certified as meeting all the requirements before their content shows up in this row. Please see our developer documentation for more information about that process. But I do want to call out that your app doesn't need to specifically check if it's running on Google TV. It can post content to Watch Next. That content simply doesn't show up on the home screen unless your app has passed the quality requirements in our documentation. The last feature we're going to dig into is home screen channels. You may have noticed that home screen channels weren't on the earlier Google TV screenshot. For Google TV, home screen channels are only shown in markets where we don't have enough information about content to power the full Google TV experience. That means they're not going to show up in markets like the US. Home screen channels are still shown on all Android TV devices that aren't running the Google TV experience. This means home screen channels are still an important integration for the Android TV experience and the Google TV experience worldwide. We work with a lot of app developers to improve their apps for Google TV. One of the things that we learned from that effort was just how helpful it would be to have a reference app that demonstrates all of these integrations. So we built one. We built a new open source TV reference app in Kotlin from the ground up, demonstrating how to implement many of these integrations. It supports playback with Exoplayer, Media Session integration, deep links, home screen channels, Watch Next, Cast Connect, and a lot more. Check out the new reference app at github.com/android repo/tv-samples. That was a lot of info to cover very quickly, but we're working extensively on documenting all of these updates. We put together a specific page that highlights these integrations and links out to much more detail, so that's a great starting point. And again, be sure to watch the What's New in Android TV and Google TV talk. It includes a lot of great info, including updates on the emulator, Firebase test labs, and more. Thanks for watching. We're looking forward to seeing what you build for Google TV.